Okay, well, let's talk about my sixth prediction. This one deals with the secular West versus the fanatic children of immigrants to the West. Long title, but let me explain it. You see, there's another cause for the cancer in the Middle East, and this one is due to the secular Western world. And I think to a certain extent I can even refer to it as the atheist Western world. At least that's how it's being perceived by the people in the Middle East. They think that the West has no God. And perhaps they're correct. But you see, it's only recently that the Western world has realized that ethnic lines and religious differences are such that they would cause strifes and rebellion and wars. The West has understood that. We need not to go as far as World War to ascertain this realization. Just witness what happened in Ireland and in Bosnia along the religious differences. So what has happened is very clear. The West understood and adopted policies that would totally separate religion from state. The right move for the West, no doubt about it. But this has also resulted in modifying a lot of laws and values in favor of secularity and equality. It's all about citizenship, not about your background. And this has gone so far and succeeded so much that the Western world became a Mecca for immigrants. New immigrants come to the West seeking freedom and prosperity and the ability to practice their religious values. It's a destination of choice and provided those immigrants with incredible economic prosperity. But more importantly, it also provided them freedom to spread their own beliefs in the West. So what we're witnessing, on the one hand, is movement and departure of the West world, the Western people, to secular and perhaps atheistic world, while the new immigrants, and particularly their children, and those that came from the Middle East and Islamic countries, they use their newfound freedom to escalate and spread their religious beliefs and values. More than that, they are assisted and helped greatly with oil money that comes from rulers of the Gulf states in the Middle East. So they create a very visible line. You can see it in the street of most Western cities. A visible line that separates or divides the Western people from the immigrants. The Western atheist people from immigrants that want to even practice their religion on the streets of these and pray on the streets of these Western cities. This has been boiling now for a couple of decades. And its visible fruits, the young Muslims, the young fanatics who not only march and demonstrate regularly for freedom and Sharia law in the West, but they even go as far as leaving their parents, leaving the countries that their parents adopted and immigrated to, and they seek to join ISIS and Al-Qaeda in the Middle East and Afghanistan. This is an incredible reversal from their families, from their parents that came to the West world. They came seeking freedom and economic prosperity, but these young Muslims reject that in favor of going back to their fundamental values of their ancestors. What the West does not seem to understand is that democracy and freedom and all those attributes that the West have dreamed and fought so hard that so we can all get to this point in our history, they are no match absolutely no match to fundamentalism that's brought about by exogenous parties. Fundamentalism that's spreading like a cancer, like a disease in the body of the Western world. Sooner or later, this disease will grow and will render the West into simply a corpse. And the demise of the Western world will happen internally, from within, and not necessarily from without. Don't expect us to get involved in exogenous wars with jihadists. They will grow because their seed is already within. It's from within. And you have to remember that when fanatic jihadists with an idea, no matter how dark, can easily overcome 100 secular Western people who would not stop to find out or to check why a man is crying or weeping on the side of a street in their town. There's apathy and there is fanaticism, and these are two polar opposite views. And the apathy of the Western world will backfire in no uncertain terms. It's simply a matter of time, and as the proportion or the percentage of the population of Islamists and fundamentalists increase over time, the apocalypse will be upon us. And there's another fact. It does not need to increase to in such a huge amount to create the upheaval that I'm talking about. In fact, it does not even need to reach the population of the black African people in the United States to create this upheaval. You see, you have to remember that black Africans, they were subjected to values and religions of the Western world. These fundamentalists from the Middle East and other places, they lack that experience. And once they taste the power, there is no doubt in my mind that they will exercise it to the fullest extent of Sharia law, if you only know what that is. Let me end this sixth prediction, and in the next video I'll talk about my seventh and last prediction.